Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. This week has a lot of, I don't actually know what it has. Let me be honest with you. I spent last week in Seattle with a whole bunch of meetings, mostly with AWS. So events have outpaced me. Let's find out. Cloud Shell now includes a built-in visual file editor, which is great. So now do S3, please. Small object editing from the console is something I've been asking about for nearly a decade at this point. Please help. AWS cost anomaly detection supports third-party models on Bedrock, which is horrifying to learn, specifically because cost anomaly detection does not monitor third-party products and services available through AWS Marketplace. That's the kind of caveat you only learn about when you're freaking out about what the hell asteroid just obliterated your bill. AWS announces a new availability zone in the Europe-London region. Surprise! Here's a fourth AZ where you were expecting 3, breaks a lot of customer automation. Well, sure, Corey, but only crappy automation, you might reasonably riposte, which is why AWS themselves took an outage from this very thing. You warned customers about it first. What's next? You're going to rename US East 1 to US East 1.2 and boast while the entire internet implodes around you? Think. AWS Billing and Cost Management introduces managed dashboards for instant cloud financial visibility. They took a bold step past the old world of configure it yourself, preferably in QuickSight. Now, I haven't dug into this yet, as I said, last week was a little tight, but more to come on this when I get around to it. In the works, AWS Builder Lofts in Berlin, Hyderabad, and Sao Paulo. There have been 6 or so Builder Lofts here in San Francisco. They've also been called Gen AI Lofts. The one that's here now is currently a Builder Center. And somehow, despite it being a block away from my office where I'm recording this right now, I rarely if ever get notifications about events that are happening there. Unlike a data center, it seems like you won't notice one of these things popping up in your neighborhood. Amazon Linux default SSM parameter will now track the latest kernel. And I hate this. Why on earth would you store a public parameter in something rate limited and complicated like parameter store instead of following the righteous path, keeping the latest kernel in a DNS text record? Introducing public preview runtimes on Lambda, starting with Node.js 26 and Python 3.15. This is huge because the Lambda team unwittingly admits it's possible for them to update a rolling release preview Lambda runtime without sending us 40,000 emails about a deprecation first. AWS and Amazon Workspace is recognized as a leader in the 2026 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Desktop as a Service. Credit where due, Gartner got this one right. More like this, please. Less like the insane AI nonsense you've been chonking out lately. Bedrock Agent Core Payments is now generally available, enabling agents to transact safely and autonomously at scale. This is a stablecoin crypto thing. Their bazaar offers 30,000 API providers, yet I cannot find 3 that aren't sketchy. Almost like a legitimate API provider is likely not going to be okay with having to accept the marketplace's generic terms of service since agents cannot consent to custom ones. Further, this feels like a solution that is desperately in search of a problem because the stated pain that it solves strikes me as one that many folks would like to be true, but I have yet to hear from a single customer for whom it is. Now, if I'm wrong here, AWS is utterly failing to tell a story. If I'm right, then this offering darkens Bedrock's brand every time it comes up. AWS Network Firewall now supports rule hit count. I have no idea how many times this firewall rule has blocked something is a common problem. Should you remove it? Christ no, that shit might be important. You could bring things crashing down instantly if it's being hit all the time. So finally, there's a solution to this. Updates to your AWS sign-in experience. The good part here is that they're pre-announcing a change to the login page so it doesn't look like a phishing attack. But the bad part is that they're supporting sign-in with Apple, GitHub, and Google, but where are Epic Games, Steam, Twitch, Lego, Etsy, Patreon, DeviantArt, Duolingo, Spotify, or Nextdoor federated options? We're waiting. And finally, 4 AWS security bulletins in a week. August has been a productive month for the AWS Security Bulletin RSS feed, which remains a security notification channel of record here in 2026, apparently. The run opened with a resource exhaustion bug in an OpenSearch dashboards route that most operators didn't know existed, then moved on to a pair of CVEs in Ion Java, a serialization library that turns up in your dependency tree like an uninvited cousin because some SDK dragged it in on your behalf. Memory amplification denial of service is the only AWS feature that scales your consumption without a pricing page. Next came the Athena ClickHouse federated connector, where the federation covers your queries and stops well short of your patching, leaving you to redeploy Lambda stacks in regions you'd forgotten you had. The closer is prototype pollution escalating to server-side RCE in the TSVB plugin, which hits self-managed and AWS managed domains alike, requires only the read-level analyst account you hand out to contractors, and gets remediated whenever somebody happens to notice a console notifications panel. And that's what happened last week in AWS. Thanks for listening. I'm Corey Quinn. Stick around.